Alright guys, welcome aboard. We're going to be flying the FlyJSim 737 decked out in our T30 or T43 or T34, I can't remember. Anyway, we got it in the Air Force livery here. We're going to go from Phoenix. We're parked conveniently here at the Air National Guard ramp. And we're going to go over to Miramar, Marine Corps Air Station over in San Diego. Should be a quick hop. And I'm actually going to be using the FMC. I haven't used the FMC in this plane, so we're going to give it a try here. Let's pop inside. Man, all of a sudden it got dark in Phoenix. It's like there's a cloud right over us. Alright, let's figure this out. What do we got to do here? We are, I think, already fueled up. Man, it's dark in here. I'll put my lights on. Well, since we're on the ramp, we're gonna have to get the APU fired up, or the GPU, sorry, down here. Hopefully that's not too loud. Alright, there we go. Let's get emergency lights on and go over to ground power here. Switch over, get all our lights fired up. And I believe there's like one more light over here. Come on, back there. There we go. Turn all the lights up in here. Come down here, get those on. Alright, there we go. Good to go. Let's see here. What are we gonna do first? Let's get our fuel situated. Yeah, we got plenty of fuel. We're all fueled up. We'll get some fuel on and get our position lights on. Let's get our anti-collision lights on and get the APU fired up so we can get out of here. Alright, looks like it's coming up. Got a beep there that says it's coming up, I think. I'm going to set my altimeter setting here really quick. 3004. Once, twice, and 3 times. Alright, let's pop into the FMC here and figure out if we can get out of here. Let's go flight plan. Hey, look at that. I think we're gonna have to reset that, but that's not where we're going. We are going to Phoenix, but we're gonna go to NKX. There we go. Take a look at our legs here. I think we got to get rid of all this crap because this is all from the previous flight. And I do not know how to delete the entire flight plan on here. Guess I can't delete that one. There's continuities. We'll get all this stuff out of here. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Delete. Alright. I think that's it. And I can't delete the discontinuities, which is a little weird. Unless I go... Let's see if I can do this. There we go. I can't get rid of that one. Alright. Let's go departure out of Phoenix. And we are not going to be taking that. We are going to take runway 26, but I'm going to deselect it for right now. And we're going to be doing the Moby 4. Moby 4, no active runway. Alright, I guess I gotta select 26, Moby 4. Yep, we're going to Gila Bend. Execute that. Come back here, and since it's such a short flight, there's not much, not too many waypoints in between, but we're going to take ILS 24 right, and we are going to Julian. That's it. Execute it. Alright, let's take a look at our legs here. So, get rid of the vector. And Gila Bend, yep, pretty much. Discontinuity, we're going direct. we're going to go up to 28,000 feet today. I'm not quite sure how this works out on here. Like I said, it's the first time that I'm doing, well, second time, let's put it that way. Second time that I'm trying this out, but first time I'm doing this route, so I'm not sure. We'll figure out how that works. And this is just the, what do you call it? The generic FMC from X-Plane, so it's pretty limited. I mean, I guess we could put airspeeds and stuff in there, but I have no idea. I don't know. Hey, you know, this is an Air Force flight. We're just going to do what the hell we want. Alright, let's get the engines fired up here. So, we got our altitude set. And we're going to go over to GPS, right? There we go. GPS is on. So hopefully we should be displaying everything down here. And it's adjusting our course, I believe, doesn't it now? Just whatever course we got there. Alright. Looks good to me. I think we're ready to get fired up. Everybody in back ready to go. Alright. Let's go over to APU power. And let's go down the stack here, see what we got to turn on. So we got fuel left and right, nothing in the center tanks. Standby power is on standby power. And we're on APU power there. That all looks good. Turn the galley on, let the guys in the back warm up their coffee. And we're on APU power. Lights are all up. Yep, seatbelt signs, everything's on already. We'll let them know we're going to start firing up here. Where is it? There we go. Let's get our window heat on, pitot heat on. We got the electrical hydraulics on. And air's already on here. Bleed air is on, and looks like we got left pack on right now. Set 28,000. For our pressurization, altitude's going to be, we'll just set 140 for right now. Alright. Excuse me, still got a lot of the allergies going on here. Feels like 80 degrees today in San Diego, here in Southern California, and as soon as it starts warming up like that, it's like, I don't know, all the pollen goes flying out all over the place. Alright, usually this plane is so easy to fly, but now that I've got the FMC in there, I'm like, whoa, what is going on? Right, we can get rid of Phoenix here. Let's punch in NKX, and we'll pull up our arrival, which is going to be that ILS. We got approach, no arrivals. We're going to be arriving ILS runway 24 right. And as you can see, we kind of come into the Julian VOR and then pop right into Miramar. Alright, got that up there. Let's go ahead and get the packs off, and we'll get fired up here. But you know what? We can turn off the GPU too here. Where is it? Thank you. Get rid of that. Seems like it's always so loud to me. Make sure I'm set up on my other screen. Yeah, everything looks good. I got the chat up there. And, yeah, alright, let's get fired up. What do we gotta do? Yeah, okay, we're just ready to go. Right, fuel's all on. We got our lights on. Yep, we can actually go. I wish I had keyboard mappings for these things, but I don't. Yeah, off. On. Okay, position lights on. Collision lights on. We don't need the logo on. Alright, let's go to ground on number 2. Listen to that thing fire up. Make sure the shades are all up. I'm putting the shades down over here. Get our fuel going. looks like we're started up on number 2. Let's go ahead and fire up number 1. Man, it's dark out here in the shade in Phoenix. Holy smokes. It's been a little while since I've flown the 737-200. Alright, there's 20 right there on the end too. Let's go ahead and introduce fuel. And I want to bring up my performance charts here. Come on. Take off. And we'll set our bugs there. That looks good. Alright, V1, V2, and rotation speed 132. So that's right about there. It looks good. I'm going to go ahead and set my airspeed up for climb out at a 210. This is an Air Force livery. Let's pop out here and I'll show it to you here. It's a little dark here in Phoenix, but this is an Air Force livery that I got off of the org forum. We'll get a better look at it when we're in the air, and actually it's a little bit brighter there. Alright, let's go ahead and switch over to engine power. And we'll get our APU off. We'll go to Gen 1 today. Alright, everything else looks good. I think we're ready to get out of here. Let's get all our taxi lights on. And we'll go to continuous on the ignition. Strobes can come on too right now. My goodness, it gets dark in the shade here. Taxiway here. Alright, so we're supposed to be going to 2.6, but you know what? I think we're going to take like 2.5 left instead. Won't make any difference. Just because I don't want to taxi all the way to the other side of the airport. Alright, let's let the guys in back know we're ready to go. Get our wing lights on. Final thing I want to do here is adjust my volume just a little bit. Turn that down. I know that's a little bit loud there. There we go. That's a little better. And since we're going to be taking off here kind of towards the end, but intersection a little bit, we're going to spool the engines up before we really get going here.
On runway 25 left,
right,
flaps,
let's hit the brakes.
flaps.
Landing lights on. And let me play with my sound here just a little bit. Environments down, yeah, interior, there we go. Turn that down a little bit. And I forgot to set my trim tab. Let's get a trim here. Flaps 5 and trim 4.6. So flaps 1, 2, 3 for 5 and 4.6. Right about there. Let the flaps come down. Auto braking off. It must be left over from my prior flight. Alright, looks like the flaps are down. We're going to go ahead and spool it up.
On runway 25 left. On runway 25.
Alright, release the brakes. Let's get out of here. Power looks good.
E1, rotate.
Alright, rotating at 132. Positive rate, gear coming up. Flaps up to 1. Let's get cleaned up in here a little bit. Get some of the taxi lights off. Alright, and we are gonna go autopilot on. And then we're gonna do indicated airspeed climb. VOR lock there and VOR lock there. That should get us going in the right direction. Let's get the rest of the flaps up. Plane's quite responsive when it's on when it's tracking the autopilot here. It doesn't mind rolling quite a bit, but then it's an Air Force flight, you know. We don't have to keep everybody comfy in the back. There's a nice view of Phoenix. I think I got the autopilot set up right here. So we got the VOR lock, we're on GPS, we're tracking our course here, although altitude we have to hold ourselves because I don't have an altitude out here. I wonder if I should put one in. Let me see here. We're gonna go 28000 at Gila Bend. Let's see if that'll work. Got it set in the autopilot, but it's not in the FMC. But we'll see how that works out. So airspeed's holding. All right, 10,000 feet. Let's get the rest of the landing lights off. Put the igniters to off. We can get the wing lights off, and everything else can stay on as is. Hopefully I don't crash it. And we're going to go ahead and speed up here to about 250. There we go, getting a little brighter in here. Buy my sneaker if you heard that. That's not what you think it is. It's my sneaker. Let me turn the sound down here a little bit. We'll take a little tour of the airplane outside. Turn down the right one. Yes, this is the Air Force T-43, I believe it is. The version of the 737-200. Model nicely, but it doesn't have the real Air Force plane doesn't have all the windows. But you know, what can you do? I guess you can't cover up the windows when you're doing the livery. How we doing? We got our airspeed 250. Let's go ahead and just double check our power settings. They're a little high. Want to stay just below or bottom side of the yellow arcs here. Don't want to break anything here on this flight. Start making a turn here. Start heading over to Gila Bend. Yeah, Moby. I've never flown. Well, I did one flight with the default FMC here, so I'm not quite totally familiar with it. Not sure. We're heading to Gila Bend. Not sure what this means, but whatever. We'll go with it. Uh-oh. Forgot to do something, didn't we? Yes, we did. Forgot to put our bleed air on here. And our packs. That's our oxygen.
Altimeter setting.
That's our oxygen sensor. Everybody's passing out in the cockpit. Alright, that should get us pressurized here in a moment. Let's go ahead and reset for a 2992. Making sure everybody's alert in the cockpit there. Forgot to turn the freaking packs on. Yeah, it has been a while since I've flown this plane, so excuse the stupidity here a little bit. Alright, looks like we're pressurizing a little bit better. Yeah, we're going down. Good. It's interesting that the cabin pressure got all the way up to what is that? 14,000 feet. Is that how you read it? Or I forgot how to read this thing. Let's see. Ooh, come on. Cabin altitude times 1,000, and then differential pressure. So yeah, so we're about 9,000 feet. Got it. Alright, I know how to read it. So the inside dial is telling you what you're at. So we're right about 9,000 feet. And then the pressure here is a differential pressure, whatever the heck that means. Assuming that's between the inside and the outside. If you know, let me know. If you know any better. But otherwise, that's all. That's what I'm going to say. Pretty hazy out here today in Phoenix. We'll see how it is in San Diego. Probably about the same. Well, if I look out the window, it's not cloudy, so nice and sunny today. Like I said, it's like 80 degrees. Big needle is the cabin altitude. Small needle is the altitude. Alright, gotcha. So this one the big needle is the cabin altitude. I think it's the other way around. I think the interior is the cabin altitude. Like, see, yeah, because we're coming down here. We were at like 9. It's like at whatever, 8.5 now. And then the differential, which it says it right up here, I just can't quite see it. There we go. Yeah, there you can see differential pressure on the outside, which is the big needle. Yeah, you know, I never really pay attention to it until I do an oopsie like I just did. then I refresh myself and figure out what the heck it is. All right, what are we going up to here? 28,000 feet. Yeah, I just got off of work myself, so I'm I'm just a little drained too. Thought I'd do a nice flight here with my coffee. You know, in the 737-200 here, I don't know what this switch does, the altitude hold. I know for it, this is the flight director, this is the autopilot. I don't quite know what this altitude hold does. Yeah, I'm pretty burnt out too. I'm pretty tired. Same here. Well, let's see, what do we got here? How much farther we got to go? We got 189 miles to Julian, and we're going to be at 8,000 at Julian, so we got to start our descent a little bit out of that. Probably about, we're only going up to 28, so probably like 50 miles out or something like that. Alright, and we're going to crank our speed up here in a sec. Going to eyeball. I'm going to shoot for like 0.77, 0.78, something like that on the Mach. Yeah, but the thing is that this is the flight director part, is it not? So like when we get up to our altitude here, which I shouldn't have slowed us down, but keeping our climb going here a little bit, you'll see the switch over here for altitude hold. See, so we're still climbing. This thing, I swear, it doesn't do anything. Maybe it does. I don't know. You might be right. Yeah, because see. Alright. I see. So I should turn that off. Let us keep climbing. I've like never used this right here. Usually what I do... No, see, I don't think that did anything, because you can see this switch right here, it flips over to altitude hold. We just happen to be coming up to altitude right when I started screwing with this. So I'm not quite sure what this does, other than it displays the flight director altitude hold indication. I don't know. Anyway. Because this is this part, I don't know if you're super familiar with the 737-200. It's a little wonky because you've got the flight director part here. You've got the autopilot on the left side here. So we're on localizer lock, GPS engaged, so it's following our GPS, right? Right here is where you actually hit the altitude hold. So you can switch over, and it switched over by itself because we have 28,000 set here. And as we got up to 28,000, that's where it went. Yeah, like I said, this altitude hold on the flight director half of the panel, I'm not quite sure what the heck it does. Because it doesn't seem to affect anything other than, I'm guessing it's a display here. I mean, altitude hold comes on here. I don't know. I don't see any indicators that would give me anything when I switch that on. I'm going to leave it on for now, but alright, so we got a little ways to go here. We're going to adjust our throttle here. I don't want to go too fast here. So I think that's the nice thing with the sub. Well, nice thing, I guess. It depends on your view. So there's no real auto throttle, so you got to adjust it yourself. So you basically get up to your airspeed here, and you got to throttle back. Here's 0.77. I'm going to go back to about 180 on these gauges here. And just kind of watch our airspeed, see if it's creeping up or down. Let the plane get settled down a little bit. Alright, looking pretty good. Looks like it's just speeding up a tiny bit. Just back the throttle off just a little bit. It is real touchy. You can see I just went from 180 to like 178.5. And just kind of watch the airspeed over here, see if it's creeping up or down. I'll let it sort of find its own little equilibrium here someplace. Yeah, it looks right about there. That's what I usually find at altitude, right around 180-ish, give or take a few points, will get you to your cruise. We're a little bit lower than normal here at 28,000, so I'm going to back it off just a little bit more so we don't overspeed here. And we've got 153 miles to go, so like 110 miles before we start our descent. So I'm going to drink some more coffee, and then I'm going to have to pop out here for a sec. Go in the back of the plane and use the Air Force John, which is not your average laboratory. I don't know what it is on the the T43 here or whatever it is. But on a C-130, which I've unfortunately had to use, the bathroom, it's basically a curtain, like a shower curtain with a little tiny pot. Yeah, using FSX, yeah. I haven't flown FSX in quite a while. Ever since I kind of jumped on board the X-plane a few years back. But I can't say I'm not purchasing anything new, really. Even though there's not really anything, unless something spectacular comes around, I'm going to wait and see what Microsoft 2020, or whatever the official name is. I'm going to see what that looks like. I'm sure they'll probably not have all of the, the planes available right off the bat, or the amount of planes that we're used to in the other sims. So, not getting rid of X-plane anytime soon. But I'm going to kind of hold off on spending my money on X-plane at the moment. We'll see what happens with Microsoft. Alright, looks like we're stable on our airspeed here. Yeah, that's the one thing with X-plane. You can see we're at altitude here. I got 25 FPS, and I'm running a Ryzen 1600, so not the most powerful CPU. And I'm running a RTX 2070 card. So my CPU is the bottleneck, and that's generally what it is in X-plane. Usually you need a good CPU, or at least a good single-core CPU, Intel seems to do a little bit better because their single core are a little bit faster. But they're coming out with a Vulkan update, which is the graphics API, I guess, or whatever, for Xplane, which should improve, supposedly, that multi-core CPU usage. So that'll be interesting. Yeah, I almost bought that the XEG737, and actually I almost bought it, but instead I bought this. I bought the FlyJSim because it's I like the older planes like this, even older than that 737. All right, airspeed's good. I think I'll back it down just a little bit more here. And I'm going to pop out of the cockpit here for a second, go in the back and use the porta-john. Wow, 2013, yeah, that's probably, yeah. You know, it'll run Xplane, but unless you're getting at least 20 FPS, it starts to get really degraded. Yeah, I think this one I'm running at 3.7 gigahertz, and I can overclock it a little bit, and I get like another 2 frames per second. But it really doesn't. It's not too bad. And usually when I'm streaming, I'm getting. If I'm not streaming, I get probably like about 28 to 30 FPS. Yeah, yeah. See, so you're probably not gonna see good performance if you're getting 20 FPS on that, just the demo. And that's just the demo, which is there's no. You don't have the ground textures or anything else. I always find that my ortho that I have on here, if I'm flying someplace without ortho scenery, I get like another 10 FPS. So I'll be in the 40s. But this is all ortho for XP. Yeah, and the Zibo is usually pretty good on frames. Not like the FlightFactor A320 or something. All right, I'm gonna pop out here just for a minute. Keep an eye on the cockpit. I will be right back. We'll let the autopilot take over here for a sec. We'll be back in just a sec. Well, just a minute. guys, I'm back. Deflate the co-pilot here. We didn't crash while I was gone. Let's see where we're at. 86 miles to Julian. We can bring up our sectional chart here. That's funny, now I got a couple viewers on Twitch. The other day I had no viewers on Twitch and everybody was on YouTube. Because I dual stream to both Twitch and YouTube at the same time. So, come on, load. Just coming up to Yuma. You can see the Salton Sea dead ahead. Just over the dunes here outside of Yuma. Yeah, a little trivia for you. So these dunes out here, if you're a Star Wars fan, this is where they filmed, what is it, Return of the Jedi. The scene where they're at Jabba's whatever, pleasure hover yacht or whatever, and Luke gets, or not Luke, but yeah, Luke was going to get tossed into the Sarlacc pit. That's where they filmed it, out in these dunes here. And my favorite little airport, Holtzville, right there. It doesn't actually look like that. It's an old World War II base that yeah, this is an old World War II base that is pretty much not in use now. But way back when I was learning to fly in real life, I had to make an emergency landing out here in a Cessna 152, and I landed on this runway right here, and it was full of weeds and potholes. I barely missed a few potholes. That was fun. So Holtzville has a little special meaning to me every time I fly by it. Let's see, how we doing here? What do we got? 65 miles out from Julian. Yeah, it was nice. I was cutting down the weeds as I was taxiing out to the ramp. They were like literally like 4 foot tall weeds growing in the cracks. And I just missed a big giant pothole when I was touching down. Just flew over it. Chili Willies, hello. Welcome aboard. How you doing today? I think I was watching one of your streams not too long ago. Alright, I think I'm going to get ready to descend here. We're going to go all the way down to 8,000 feet. Yeah, I try to pop into a lot of the different streamers during the day because I work from home, so this side here is my streaming setup. The other side behind me is my work setup. So a lot of times I'll throw some streams on while I work and get a little diversion there. Yeah, that's usually what happens. People build their houses right at the end of the runway, and then they complain that it's too loud and they want to shut the airport down. Alright, let me see if I can figure out how to descend this thing with this FMC here. Normally I just fly it by hand, but let me see here. I'm going to go altitude hold off. And then we're going to have to power back. Let me get my view set up here. Now frames, catch up. Alright, we're going to go power back, nose over a little bit as my frames are dying. Just manage my airspeed with the throttle there. What in the world is loading there? Down to 20 on the FPS. Looks pretty hazy out here in El Centro. Yeah, it's usually what happens, isn't it? That little airport Holtzville I was talking about, that's basically, it was closed and the only people that used it were like the locals were using it as a little racetrack with their, you know, ATVs and dune buggies and stuff. And then the Navy still uses it, believe it, to this day. They, well, not the Navy, sorry, the Marines. They fly their Ospreys in there and touch down every once in a while. They use it as a practice field. Alright, I think we're on our way down. 35 miles to Julian. Here, take another look outside here. Turn the volume down first. I guess it doesn't need to be that low, huh? I love the way these engines sound. Yeah, I bet a 5,000 foot runway, you can do some nice drag racing down that, huh? I think right down here is Bombay Beach. I can't remember which side of the Salton Sea it's on. It's either on this side or that side. But it's an old, what do you call it? Development that never went anywhere. A lot of papers on that wall, yeah. It's a look at me wall. I am officially retired from the Air Force. Well, the Air National Guard. Let me see. Just about a year and a few months I retired. 26 years total time. I think I got to go down a little quicker here because we're still at 20,000 and we're 18 miles out. Yeah, thank you very much. I did 6 years active duty, and then there were another 20 years in the Air National Guard. Which is why I like to fly my Air Force plane out of the Air National Guard ramp out at Phoenix. I'm going to bring the power back here. Let's get our descent going a little bit faster. What did I do in the Air Force? I was a meteorologist. Yeah, I was a meteorologist, so briefed the air crews on their flights. I wish I could. Yeah. Well, I'm not a programmer. But yeah, I hear you. I wish the weather was a little bit better in X-plane. All right, powering all the way back here. Might have to bring some spoilers up to keep this descent going. We're doing a tactical descent here. Alright, there we are, over lovely Julian. If you're ever in San Diego in the fall, come up here and come up to Julian, get yourself an apple pie. Bring that nose up just a little bit. Alright, let's take a look at our approach. Yeah, there we are. 8,000 over the VOR, and then we're basically going to step all the way down to 3,000 to pick up the ILS. And what is the ILS frequency? 109, no, that's Miramar. 111.15. Let's go ahead and set that. There we go. Ourselves slowed down over here. We're going to be about 250 here. Come on in, X-plane, catch up. Oh yeah, I got the spoilers out here. Don't worry, we'll get it slowed down. Let's see, what am I going down to? 3,000. So I'm just going to set 3,000 once we level out at 8,000. There we go. Altitude hold just picked up. Keep the spoilers out until we get slowed down. And let's go ahead and reset for 3,000. Alright, spoilers down. Continue our descent down to 3,000. Let's see, I'm going to be at 4,700 at Reno. We'll kind of eyeball it here. see San Diego already in the distance there. What do we got? 3 miles to Reno. We're a little high, but that's all right. And I'm going to bring the sound up here for the approach. I already got Miramar in our view here. Spoilers out. Let's get slowed down. We're actually going to go to 200. Quit moving on me. And what else did I want to do here? Something else. Altimeter setting. Let me see what we got for an altimeter setting here. 3009. I think we're going to be coming in on the right. Right, 24 right, yep. Alright, there's 3,000. Let's get the spoilers down. Beautiful Gillespie Field right there. That's where I learned to fly. Come on, airplane. What are you doing? Okay, let's get the power back up. Stay at 200. And here's where I don't know how to use the autopilot. I think you go autopilot approach here. Auto approach. To do the ILS, unless we're locked up. We hope it doesn't crash. Come on. Oh, seriously? Hold on, it's still clocking on my end over here. Uh-oh. Really? Oh, come on, seriously? I hate it when X-plane dies right when you're coming into land. Let's see what we got here. It's still on my screen. I think that's it, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. All that way. And it craps out. Seriously, X-plane, what in the world are you doing? Alright, well, I'm going to call that a day, because I'm not going to fly the whole thing over again. Don't you just hate that? Oh my goodness sakes. Yay. Oh well, anyway, till next time, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry for the crash. Yeah, I know, really? Don't you just hate that? X-plane. Oh my goodness. Alright guys, well till next time, I'm gonna call it. And we will be back for another flight in the 737-200 next time around. Take care.